Good afternoon, everyone. It is about 4:45. Wanted to give you some updates here and stay with you for a little while as we track a line of some pretty strong storms making their way through the area. Not a severe weather outbreak by any means today, but again, tracking a line of some stronger storms moving through. We could see a couple of storms produce strong straight line winds. In addition to that, we could potentially see a brief spin up tornado. Can't completely rule it out this afternoon. So wanted to give you a quick update, letting some folks go ahead and join in here. If you've got some questions, I'll try to answer some of those. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued here very shortly ago for parts of Perry County, including most of the county outside the far northwest corner. So if the line of storms has already moved through you, then you're in the clear. But we will stay focused on this line of strong storms making its way through the area. So again, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Perry County in southern Illinois. Does include Pinckneyville and DuQuoin. That warning will be in effect for about until it looks like about 5:30 or so. And they went ahead and put a tornado possible tag on that. All right, let's go ahead and do that. You should be able to hear me now. Having a couple issues with my camera here. Let me go ahead and get this switched over as well so that you can see this. Issues with my computer on my end. I don't want you guys to miss. We'll be tracking this for, again, next couple of hours. This line does move through the area very, very quickly. That's some good news for us here in southern Illinois, but we will be keeping an eye on it as it does. Again, a strong line right now moving through. We've got Perry County in southern Illinois under a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. Strong straight line winds, the biggest threat with that storm as we continue to watch this make its way through. Let me go ahead and see if I can get my cameras to unfreeze as well. If I can do that, then we should be in pretty good shape here over the next little bit. But again, just line of strong storms this afternoon. It was expected. Again, this is not a big severe weather outbreak by any means for us here in the region, but could see some strong straight line winds. And as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, also could see a brief spin up tornado. Can't entirely rule that out. Let me see if I can get my camera switched over here so I can see all you guys. See if that helps out just a bit. Trying to get everything all situated. All right, let's see if that works out a little bit better here. Please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and all of that. Again, having a couple of small technical difficulties this afternoon, but trying to work through some. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning for Perry County until 5:30 p.m. Storm moving in roughly about 30-40 miles per hour. These storms are going to move pretty quickly this afternoon. And one of the things that kind of surprised us a little bit is there's actually a fair amount of shear that's been available with, but then the amount of instability, the amount of energy available ended up increasing a fair amount here today. So as a result of that, we are seeing warnings, and again, that's kind of expected, but continuing to see a few more of these here throughout the afternoon. All right, so you guys can see me and hear me now. Perfect. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. All right, so there it is. The strongest part of the storm moving into Pinckneyville right now. We'll move over towards Tamaroa and DuQuoin here probably over the next half an hour or so. And I'll be trying to send out a few messages as well on the Nick Housen weather app as we kind of keep an eye on these as we go ahead and put a storm track on this real quick. See if we can get a pretty good idea of where this thing is heading, get some of the smaller communities in there as well. And this line of storms, again, we'll be keeping an eye on this primarily for strong straight line winds, but there is enough shear there to keep an eye on some of these for the potential for a brief spin up tornado. So we'll go ahead and say this is moving out about 30 miles per hour, kind of gives you an idea of where it's heading. So coming into Pinckneyville and Tamaroa here just over the next 10 minutes. And then also moving towards, say, Point, coming up roughly about 5:05, 5:10 Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And I made a typo on the date there. I'll try to fix that as well. But we continue to watch this as it makes its way across the area again this afternoon. Shows you where I'm at. My head this afternoon, all in Christmas and trying to keep up and catch up on all of that. All right, there we go. All right, so that should be changed now to December. All right, this line of storms again making its way through the area: Pinckneyville, Tamaroa, DuQuoin, Dow, Cesar. Cesar, you're not actually in the warning right now, but we do anticipate that to be, as these move pretty quickly, about 5:15. So if this storm continues to show signs that it's going to be fairly strong, they may extend that warning a little further to the east. So you'll see the strong straight line winds here. That's this green color right back here, this brighter green color. And there might actually be just a little bit of rotation there south of Pinckneyville. But again, not anything to prompt a tornado warning at this point. Right now, the National Weather for this storm primarily warned potential for winds up to 6 miles per hour. We're going to zoom back out here just a bit and kind of run down through everything so that you guys can all see this, and we'll break down kind of what we're seeing right now on radar this afternoon. There's the line of storms making its way through. And again, as this moves eastward, gives you an idea how quickly this thing is just quickly moving eastward. So this is not going to be around for very long, in and out of here pretty quickly. I think by 7, 8 o'clock, we're watching this cross over the Ohio River. The other good news this afternoon is this is the only round of severe storms. So get through this, get what you need out of this. As far as the severe weather goes, we'll see if this one moves through pretty quickly. Once it does, then we're kind of in the clear throughout the rest of the afternoon. So this is the leading edge of the cold front. And once this moves through, notice this afternoon temperatures well into the 60s, and in some places even into the 70s today. And as a result of that, we have some instability that has developed out ahead of the line. Now, once this cold front moves through, there is a tremendous cool down right behind it. I know that we're used to seeing strong cold fronts move through. We're talking about going from temperatures today that were in the lower 70s to afternoon highs tomorrow below freezing. Tomorrow morning, waking up, and you'll have wind chills that are well below freezing and the sink. This cold front does mean business. We do have a couple new severe thunderstorm warnings passed along just as I was talking there. New severe thunderstorm warning for Jefferson County does include Mount Vernon all the way over towards, say, Blueford. Looks like Waltonville kind of right on the line of that. Woodlawn is going to be in that severe thunderstorm warning. That one runs until 5:30. Once again, the potential there for some strong straight line winds. They put a speed on that one at about 43 miles per hour. Further to the south, we have another severe thunderstorm warning for southwest parts of Jackson County and northwest Union County. Northwest Union County does include Alto Pass, Grand Tower. It looks like Murfreesboro's in that, Gorham, all the way down towards, say, the Bottoms area, and then again over towards Murphy. That one is a severe thunderstorm warning as well. We're going to look a little bit deeper into this. They went ahead and put a tornado possible threat on this one. Again, if we see any tornadoes this afternoon, we're not talking about the large tornadoes sometimes we see in the spring. We're talking about this line moving through and possibly spinning up a very brief tornado as it moves. So, but still, being said, if you have a severe thunderstorm warning and you feel threatened, you may want to head to shelter. If there's a tornado warning, of course, still listen to that and head to shelter as well. It does not take a big tornado to cause damage. So let's go ahead and look into this one a little bit more. Turn with right back area here. Going to be south of Perryville right now. That would be moving towards Longtown and eventually towards Gorham and Tower. It would cross over somewhere in that range. That's storm relative velocity. Let's go back over to base. Pretty strong winds associated with this storm. Looks like we're seeing incoming winds getting picked up on radar about 50 miles per hour. So again, enough to do some damage. Right back in the back end of this. Good. bit of a notch. Oh, so that's kind of what we're keeping an eye on. We're going to be watching right back this area for the potential of strong, potentially a brief spin up. We'll have to keep an eye on that again. Right now, what we're watching is potential there from strong straight line winds. Again, this is in Perry County in southeast Missouri, but it's heading towards Jackson County. Heads up for folks in Gorham, southward to Grand Tower, right along the Route 3 corridor, and then also eastward over towards as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one here over the next little bit. Let's go back north. Look at the one in Jefferson. The one in Jefferson County, again, new severe thunderstorm warning just issued a few. That one as well. That's Woodlawn, Waltonville that is in that warning. Mount Vernon, Blueford, Dix, all the way up to the Marion County line. That does include Dix and basically right there. I-60 is under a severe thunderstorm. That runs until 5:30. National Weather Service most concerned right now with this one with potentially some strong straight line winds. We'll have to keep an eye on this. Again, it looks like maybe there is a little bit of rotation on the front edge of this, but again, probably going to see some winds upward anywhere from 40 to 60 miles as this moves through. And then the line does stretch further to the south. So pretty much everybody this afternoon is going to see a strong storm. I don't think that everybody this afternoon is going to see major, right? So for many, as these storms are moving through, we're going to be a brief round of heavy rain, some winds, and then behind the line, a very sharp cool down. All right. Yeah, and if you're trying to join me this afternoon on Facebook, I appreciate all that. If you guys are having problems with some of my audio at times, you are also more than welcome to head on over to the YouTube channel. So if you just search Nick Housen Weather, sometimes Facebook does kind of cut down on some of the with there. Pull my mic back up here. But at times we do see that Facebook will kind of cut down on that. And if that happens, then the best place is honestly to watch this live stream is going to be YouTube. They don't quite cut down on the band. Like Facebook does. Again, if you are having some issues hearing my mic, I'm going to a little bit. That might help out a little bit with the audio there, what I just did. But we appreciate, again, everybody. So once again, you can kind of head over to YouTube as well. And if you search Nick Housen Weather, you'll find me there. So not only on Facebook, but should be live, the exact same live feed over there. So again, watching this line of strong storms move through the area. Again, why we actually decided to go ahead and go live was as we were coming on this severe thunderstorm warning that was issued here for we got going on here. My stuff hanging out right here on the top. All right. So as we were coming on, we had a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Perry County, and then we had several more issued as well. So Jefferson County under a severe thunderstorm warning, that one runs until 5:30 as well. So there it is, storm moving about 40 to 45 miles per hour. We'll go ahead and put a storm track on that. And watching that continue to move eastward. So that's eventually going to move into Wayne County. So heads up for folks further to the east, Mount Vernon. It hasn't gotten to you, but it will here in just a bit. Bonnie, Ina, Belle Rive, let's see, Prairie City, you guys are all going to end up being under dealing with this line of storms as it makes its way eastward. Belle Prairie City right now, Dahlgren, McLeansboro, you guys are not in this warning, but be aware this line is just to your west, and it currently is warned for severe thunderstorms. So keeping an eye on that as well. So again, there's the line of warnings right now that we're dealing with. Stretching, there we go. Okay, a little bit better sound. And then I decided to lose some radar. So hold on here, guys. I apologize for this. There we go. Having some technical issues this afternoon. All right, so there's the line. We'll stretch this all the way down into Jackson County. And we'll take this east. we'll say 40 miles per hour. Give you an idea there where we're watching this. So Cesar, Elkville. So Elkville's there in Jackson County, right along the just south of the Perry County line. So again, you're not under severe thunderstorm warning right now, Elkville. Dow, DuQuoin. DuQuoin, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning as this moves eastward. And then further to the east into parts of Franklin County. No severe thunderstorm warning yet for Franklin County, but we're talking Cesar, we're talking Ewing, Ina, Bonnie, Mount Vernon. You guys are all going to be dealing with this storm as it moves through. Again, what we're most concerned with is some strong straight line winds, but we could potentially also see a brief spin up tornado. So right now what we're dealing with is just severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, we could see some winds with this line here, anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. But in that, there could be a brief spin-up tornado as well. We've had several of these severe thunderstorm warnings that do have tornado possible tags on them. And then there's just an idea of some of the time. So McLeansboro, for you guys, it's going to be about 5:35 when it moves in. West Frankfort, again, that's going to be a little bit sooner for you as you are further to the west. So you're talking more, probably just before 5:30 when it moves in there. With this line this afternoon, I know I had a lot of folks, so I'll go ahead and kind of talk to you guys. I had a lot of folks that were very worried as this line of storms was moving through, and just want to let you know that this is not a major severe weather outbreak for us. This is not the same type of stuff that we often see in the spring. This is a very strong, potent cold front that's going to move through, and as a result, it is going to then bring a line of some stronger storms with potentially a brief spin up. But again, the tornado threat still this afternoon, in my opinion, and I've been kind of preaching this for the last couple of days, in my opinion, the tornado threat this afternoon is still fairly low for southern Illinois. Trying to answer some of your questions as they come on through, and appreciate all of that. Appreciate everybody joining me this afternoon. Again, if you are having some issues maybe with the sound or with the video, you can always try to come back in on YouTube, Nick Hausen Weather on YouTube. If you search that, you can also find me there. I know we've got some folks that have headed over there, and the streams are usually a little bit smoother on YouTube versus Facebook. But if you are joining me this afternoon from Facebook, we've also got about 600 folks there as well joining us this afternoon currently. So keeping an eye on this. Jenny saying dark and Cesar. Yeah, I bet it is as this line moves through. See if I can show you the backside here. So this is a live view actually from Perryville. So this is right just across the river from Chester. So this is actually the behind the line. And just to give you an idea how quickly this moves through, DuQuoin just now starting to see this line of storms move in. Meanwhile, Chester already out of it. So there you are, Chris. I see your comment coming in about how about DuQuoin. The line of storms is just moving through there right now. It's just now getting to DuQuoin. Let's go ahead and zoom back in on that. Do have a severe thunderstorm. So St. John's, DuQuoin right now dealing with that. Severe thunderstorm warning moving for you guys. We've seen some signs maybe of some 50, 60 mile per hour winds in this in the southeastern part here, the area that's moving into Perry County. Again, St. John's, DuQuoin, and moving eastward. But there's nothing right now that really jumps out at me as being concerned. All right, so we just had a new severe thunderstorm warning that was plotted in here for most of Franklin County. It does include the southern part of Jefferson County as well. There it is. Christopher, Benton, Thompsonville, Valier, Cesar, basically areas right along Wren Lake. New severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for you. And that severe thunderstorm warning, again, is going to be for potentially strong straight line winds as storms make their way through. Could see some gusts 50 up to about 60 miles per hour as they move eastward. And that is enough to cause some damage as well. So again, this line continues to make its way through the area. So that severe thunderstorm warning, there it is, plotted on the map, runs until 5:45. They continue to increase the storm motion. All these little areas, we see this little, the brighter reds and the brighter greens kind of coming together in some of those areas. That's little areas, little pockets of rotation. So that's where we could potentially see a brief spin up tornado. It would not be surprising at all if we have a brief spin up tornado this afternoon and it's not even warned. It's just that type of scenario where these are going to happen very, very quickly. We call these QLCS tornadoes embedded in the line, but you may not even see a tornado warning with some of these. So just kind of keep in mind as this line moves through. In addition to that, also could see some strong straight line winds. Further to the south, Darcy, if you're joining me on Facebook and you're having any connectivity issues, you may want to head over to my YouTube channel. Sometimes the connections are a little bit better there on YouTube. But all right, let's go ahead and do another storm track on this. We'll stretch this from Mount Vernon. We are going to stretch this from just to the north and east of Mount Vernon all the way south. And we're going to take this eastward at about 40 miles per hour. Should get Marion in there. Had some folks asking about Marion and the timetable on that. Hopefully that kind of helps you out here. Again, the red boxes that you see, those are actually the storm track. The orange boxes you see that include Franklin County, Jefferson County, much of Jackson County, and does include also the northwest corner of Union County. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. So those severe thunderstorm warnings, again, many of those issued from anywhere from 5:30 to 5:45 as they move eastward. To kind of give you an idea of the time, maybe some of the larger communities here, Murfreesboro coming in here very shortly in about the next 10 minutes or so. This line will make its way there. And then further to the east, we've got Benton. We've got at about 5:22, Carbondale coming in just probably in about 20 minutes or so. And then you get into Williamson County. We've got Heron coming in about 25 minutes when this line moves there. And then over towards Marion coming in closer to, say, 5:40 or 20 till 6. And the same for Fairfield and Wayne County. And then also McLeansboro coming in also right around 5:40. Further to the south and east, the line again stretches all the way down to southeast Missouri. So we are going to be dealing with this for quite a while. Some of your comments asking, what are you thinking for Harrisburg? You know, again, this line, it's going to be something we keep an eye on. And there might be a few strong, isolated, damaging wind gusts in this line. And the reason we're staying with you this afternoon is just the chance that there could be a brief spin-up tornado. So just wanted to kind of calm some nerves. I know there's a lot of folks out there right now that were kind of anxious heading into this one. But again, this is not some of the severe weather like we had earlier in the year where we had these real big tornado outbreaks. That's not the case today. What we're dealing with is probably a little more characteristic around here in southern Illinois. Still something to keep in mind, still something to keep an eye on and watch as it moves through. But most areas, and really most in southern Illinois, are probably just going to see a brief line of some really heavy rain as it moves through. There's some lightning, some gusty winds, then the sharp cool down that follows right. Do I think the storms will weaken, be a little weaker by the time they get to the Garden of the Gods? You know, this line has quite a bit of energy to work with, at least here over the next hour or so. I do anticipate as we lurk later and later into the evening hours, say closer to 6 or 7 or even closer to 8, we are going to start seeing some of the instability wane just a bit. That is likely going to be weakening. I-50. We'll keep an eye on that right now. Again, at this point, really thinking that risk overall still remains somewhat low in our area. But it is something to keep an eye on here. We're joining you. All right. Have you said anything about O'Fallon? No, I haven't. I haven't been trying not to cut out here, but in O'Fallon, it looks like you guys are well in the clear in O'Fallon. Okay, so and once this line goes through, then that's it. Things settle down pretty quickly, and I say settle down. The winds are going to pick up west, but at least the storms are going to settle down. Appreciate all of the window. Well, the temperatures. Yeah, Kristen. So right behind this line is when we're going to see these. Right behind this line. See a couple live views from across the area as well. This is Alpha Marion. I'm trying here. Yep, that's the view right there on the Marion Square. You can see the flag still blowing in the wind from the south. That's really been the case here through this afternoon. Pretty incredible, actually, to talk about some of the warmth that we have around here this afternoon with temperatures well into the 70s. And in addition to temperatures well into the 70s, we had dew points that were the dew points were well into the lower 60s, and dew points in the lower 60s oftentimes mean that, well, you've got a little bit of energy, and when the line of storms, the cold front crashes into some of that warm, humid air, this is the result. So again, keeping an eye on a few different areas. I'm going to zoom in here just a few of these. Kind of in between the warnings here, but keeping an eye here in the northern parts of Jackson County. That's anywhere from about Ava to the south and east of that. That's going to cross over 127 here in just a bit. But again, just some real quick little eddies or couplets, as we oftentimes call them. Turn on some of these roads for you so you can see these maybe just a little bit better. See if that helps out just a little bit, kind of with where some of the towns are. This is going to cross over 127, pretty close to Route 4 here in just a bit. Keeping an eye on that one as well. That's probably the area that, as far as a spin-up goes, right now just to the north of Murfreesboro. So I'm going to say right back here, the south of Ava. It's going to cross over again. It's going to pass probably just south of Route 4. There's Route 4 sitting here. There's Ava. All over your place with this. A little rotation there, though, just south of Ava. Again, no warning actually on that storm. So I'm trying to see if we can zoom in just a little tighter on that, but that's going to pass very close to Virgins. Lauren asking if some of these storms are moving to the north and east. Actually, if you put the motion on this, kind of get you an idea. East northeast is more than anything. I'd say, yeah, this is moving pretty much east northeast. So again, area of rotation we're keeping an eye on here, just to the south of Ava. No actual warning right now on that storm. Looking over the warning boxes, and you can see all those are the severe thunderstorm warnings stretching from Jefferson County, so Mount Vernon southward on 557. Does include Franklin County, much of Franklin County. And then also back into Jackson County, southwest Jackson County, Gorham, Murfreesboro, the Grand Tower area. You guys are all under severe thunderstorm warnings. Pinckneyville, DuQuoin, right now the strongest part of the storm's moving through you in DuQuoin, but the severe weather threat is going to rapidly end for you. Mount Vernon, the same for you. Right now, the strongest part of the storm is moving through your area, but as soon as this line of storms moves through, so Waltonville, you're already in the clear. Dix, you're already in the clear. Mount Vernon, you're getting ready to be in the clear. Give it about another 5 minutes or so. successor. The worst of it is coming right into your area right now, but then as soon as that line moves through, you're going to see things quickly and rapidly improve. So this line is moving very, very quickly. Notice further to the south, not as many warnings on this line. So hopefully we kind of dodge a bullet at least further to the south. But again, right now, continuing to see more and more severe thunderstorm warnings issued. Another one just came in here in some of our northern counties. That does include much of Wayne County, at least the western part of Wayne County, including Wayne City. That's a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just plotted in there. It looks like that's just a extension of the warning in Jefferson County. Go back into the storm here. I still get a little kink here on radar, something that kind of grabs my attention here. That's just to the north of Murfreesboro. That's the area we've been watching there, just north of Murfreesboro. I mean, we're talking, yeah, just north of town. So where closer to where, say, Egyptian Electric Cooperative is, and then between Murfreesboro and Egyptian Electric Cooperative is kind of the area that we're keeping an eye on right now. Again, no actual warning. You're just barely in the severe thunderstorm warning there, but I have a feeling we're going to see a continuation of that further to the east. So folks further eastward in DeSoto and Hearst and Royalton and Ziegler and Freeman Spur and Culp, got a pretty strong storm getting ready to move into your area. I do anticipate that we are going to likely see a new severe thunderstorm warning issued over the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes. And when that does so, we'll keep an eye on that. But that's an area of rotation to watch. And then further northward, sorry about that. Maybe not looking quite as pronounced or as strong as what this was just a little while ago. But again, this is a potent line of strong storms moving through. So again, what I do anticipate, and there you go, there's the new warning that was just issued. And getting the alert coming over the Nick Housen weather app as I speak right now. So new severe thunderstorm warning. We were just talking about this. New severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County. It looks like they pretty much included the entirety of the county in that. Southern parts of Franklin County, and then the rest of Jackson County pretty much included in that severe thunderstorm warning that runs until 6 p.m. this evening. All right, so a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued. Looks like they went ahead. They actually did not put a tornado possible tag on this, so they are issuing this for potentially winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. That's what they have issued this warning for. So again, that does include Marion, Carterville, Carbondale, DeSoto, Hearst, Herrin, Johnston City, West Frankfort, and then all the way east, Pittsburgh, Thompsonville, Corinth, Creel Springs. You guys are all in the severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. All right, we're getting a couple reports coming in right now. It just looks like a spotter in Jackson County reported some power lines down in Jackson County, so I have a feeling that that is probably with this area on the northern part of the county, potentially north of Murfreesboro. That's the area we've been talking about and kind of concerned with as it moves eastward. We'll get an idea on that here in just a few minutes. Seems to be the strongest part of the storm, though, kind of on the southern part here. The southern part of the warnings there. So moving into Murfreesboro. So Murfreesboro, let's get ready to really start coming down. Probably going to get a pretty good gust of wind here over the next few minutes. Hearing some folks further north in the Spring Garden area. That's on the east side of Mount Vernon. Spring Garden folks, new comment coming in there and saying that they've raining really hard. So yeah, seeing a lot of really heavy rainfall. And that's honestly, again, folks, that's what we are going to be seeing for many this afternoon. You're going to say, what severe weather are we talking about? There might be some gusty winds, but more than anything, there's going to be some very heavy rainfall for a brief period of time right on the cold front. Behind this, strong northwest winds. And then we are going to see the cool down begin here in the area. DuQuoin, you guys are in the clear for severe weather now. In Pinckneyville, Ava, Campbell Hill, you guys are all in the clear. Waltonville, Mount Vernon, you are in the clear for severe weather. Let's go back into the storm there in close to the Murfreesboro area. Lauren asking about tornado potential in the Murfreesboro storm. Right now, I see a little bit of rotation in it. Probably not enough to put down a tornado, but there is at least going to likely be some strong straight line winds, anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour. Give it about 5 minutes or so, and I think this is going to be by you. It is moving very quickly. Another little area of rotation here, just a little bit further to the north. Over to storm relative. Let's see if that kind of improves our view just any better. Each one of these, again, it's just not enough to prompt a bunch of warnings for tornadoes, but it is something to kind of mention, and this is why they put severe thunderstorm warnings out. One here, northwest of Benton, so that's crossing over Wren Lake right now. Looks like that's going to be approaching, say, the Whittington exit very shortly. There's a little area of rotation there. There's a few more further to the south. A couple little embedded here. So again, these are the things we're talking about. Patrick saying Murfreesboro getting hit right now with a lot of rain and wind, and radar looks pretty scary. Yeah, we keep an eye on that Murfreesboro cell just a bit. Again, I don't think that there is a... Well, I'll tell you what. Update just came in there. Just these little tiny eddies. We've got just enough wind shear in the atmosphere this afternoon to have some concern about it. But each one of those I was highlighting and circling kind of shows you where the rotation is, and there's just several of them kind of embedded in this line. Go back over to base velocity. They're not quite as pronounced there. That storm there just on the north side of, just north of Murfreesboro, has shown some signs of time. Oftentimes when you see these little spin-ups kind of show up on radar, you start seeing them, and they might recycle. It might take a couple of times, and then all of a sudden you end up with one that ends up producing a brief tornado. So that's something to keep an eye on there. All right, so right now everybody from, basically we'll say, if you're if you're familiar with I-57, you travel that from Rend Lake southward to the I-24 split. Right now, all of those areas are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, we do not have any tornado warnings right now, but that being said, this line of storms could have a brief spin up embedded in it. The scenario that we're dealing with this afternoon, there's a lot of shear. There's just not a ton of energy, enough, but there's not a ton, not compared to what we see in the spring. So what that means is we end up with these kind of low-topped storms. There is some lightning embedded in this line, but there's not a lot of lightning. There's not a lot of thunder embedded in this line. So a little different than maybe what you're used to in other parts of the year, but that's what we often deal with here in the cooler months of the year as well. So again, DeSoto, Carbondale, you've got a real strong storm getting ready to move in there. Trying to see if there were any more reports kind of coming in line with this. I'm going to see if I could pull up any power outage reports as well. I see that we did have a power outage that again was reported in Jackson County here just a little while ago. I don't exactly have complete confirmation of where that occurred, but I have a feeling it may have been on the north side of Murfreesboro. But right now our power outage count is only saying 12 customers out in Jackson County, so that's not a lot. So maybe the report of power lines down maybe was in an isolated event. We'll hope for that. All right, I got some folks now asking again for the time frame, so let's go ahead and put the time back on this. Just remember, these are estimates, not set in stone, but just kind of a general estimate of when this is going to be moving in. Carbondale coming in just a minute or two. Benton, that's going to be in your neck of the woods. Again, you've still got probably about 5 to 10 minutes before it moves in, but Benton's going to be dealing with this here in just a bit, and then give you an idea a little bit further to the east into Williamson County when you've got Herrin and Marion. Herrin coming in about 5:30, Marion about 5:40, and then further east, it looks like Harrisburg, that would be about 6:05. So you've got about 40 minutes or so in Harrisburg before this line gets to you. I do anticipate that once this line gets a little bit further east, once we see this move across I-57, and that does include folks like McLeansboro, Harrisburg, Carmi, Shawneetown, Ridgeway. Once this line starts to move a little further east, I think we are going to likely see some weakening. We're just going to start getting where the sun has gone down. We're losing some of that daytime heating that we had out ahead of this, and there have been some hints of that showing up the last couple of days, that as this line moves eastward, we see some weakening. So crossing our fingers that that ends up being the case. And don't be surprised tomorrow morning. That's the big story here, is when you wake up tomorrow morning, it is going to be quite a shock to the system. We've had temperatures last couple of days in the 70s, and then you're talking tomorrow morning where we'll have temperatures in the lower 20s, but wind chills are going to be in the single digits. So this line of storms, this cold front, boy, it means business as it's moving through the air. This is one of the sharper cold fronts, one of the bigger temperature drops that you will see. I've had some folks asking me kind of about winter weather. I'm not anticipating any winter weather on the backside of this at this point. In addition to that, the strong winds and the drier air behind this cold front should really help dry up most of the moisture on the ground. So I know that the catchy phrase this year has been, hey, watch for flash freezes and all of that, but I'm not real concerned about that tonight. Yeah, a little rotation there with the storm that's moving through Ziegler right now. That's in southwest Franklin County. Not seeing, though, a lot of rotation with this right now. This is mostly straight line winds, and that's kind of what we thought here this afternoon. We thought that was probably going to end up being the case with the storms moving through with strong straight line winds. Few warnings, get on out of here. I've been kind of talking about it for the last couple of days that, hey, the tornado threat, as far as the wind in the atmosphere, the turning of the winds, it was not super impressive locally. A little bit more impressive to the north. They've had some tornadoes north across parts of central Illinois, but it just was not quite there. The energy maybe a little higher than what we had anticipated a couple of days ago, but still, this is not real conducive to tornadoes. So just for most, this is going to be some gusty winds. All right, asking about here. Hey, Casey. Yeah, if you would, again, if you guys are having any issues, it looks like we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, so we'll go down to that here. If you're having any issues on Facebook, you can slide on over to my YouTube page, and the YouTube page is just Nick Hausen Weather, and you should find it, the same blue icon that you have there on the app. And the same live stream that's on Facebook is also over on YouTube. And usually the stream is just a little bit more stable on YouTube than it is on Facebook. We're going to continue to do both because I understand that most of you guys are on Facebook, and that's where we want to be as well. All right, so Murfreesboro, you are in the clear for severe weather. The severe weather threat is by you now. It's right now the line of storms, at least the leading edge of it, is moving right down Route 13, heading towards Carbondale. Again, big line of severe thunderstorm warnings. New one that was issued just a few moments ago does include most of Union County now. So new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Union County, including Alto Pass, and Cobden, and Anna, Mill Creek, Dongola. It does also include Ware and Wolf Lake over along Route 3. Getting a report from, thanks Daisy for the report, appreciate that. Mike Barnes saying pouring in Carbondale. That's the leading edge of this line moving through. Let's go back over. Yeah, the area, I'll tell you what, the most area that has, yeah, there's some strong winds here, but this is the spot here, right along 149, Ziegler to the Plumfield area, right there along the Big Muddy River, where it goes underneath 149 between West Frankfort and Ziegler. That's the area right now that I'll be keeping an eye on. There at least are some signs of some rotation there. So again, folks in West Frankfort and eventually eastward over towards Thompsonville, you've got a strong storm heading your way. Beth, if you got a cool picture or anything like that, you can always email it to me. If you just housenweather at gmail.com. Trying to keep up with some of the comments as well and trying to let you guys know what's going on. I'll zoom this out just a bit. You know, I usually don't go all the way up into northern parts of Wayne County, but you'll see the red boxes there on the northern part of your screen from Olney. Looks like that's all the way up into, and I say all the way up. I mean, we are covering far southern Illinois, so looks like West Salem down towards Mount Erie and Olney. Some of those areas dealing with a few tornado warnings up that way. Right, 2 spots I'm going to zoom in on here. Switch over my color pen so you guys can see this maybe a little bit better, but one here just west of West Frankfort. That one is the one we were tracking for quite a while, actually, talking about tracking that one all the way north of Murfreesboro and now into parts of Franklin County. So that one has shown some signs of kind of holding together. And then there's a few more. Now these are going to be pretty high up in the atmosphere that we're getting picked up on radar. That one's just north of Dahlgren in the northern parts of Hamilton County. But keeping an eye on that little spot too, as again, not enough right now. There's no tornado warnings or anything like that, but keeping an eye on a couple of these little areas, as we have seen at times, some brief rotation, some weak rotation, and abroad as this line of storms is. Go ahead and put the storm track back on that. Get a little bit of heads up on where this is heading and when it's heading there. Go ahead and clear that and redo that one more. All right, should be back now. All right. Let's see if we can do this a little bit better here. Apologize for my drawing skills this evening. We're going to try this here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop drawing here for a second. I want to zoom back in on this storm because I think it's possible that we end up with a tornado warning here. That's potentially a possibility here. Again, right now, keeping an eye on an area, looks like that is going to be back. All right, so still keeping an eye on that. Switch this back over real quick to the, there it goes. Wondering, okay. There we got an update. Say we're not updating radar. That's what I was concerned about. All right, so the strongest part of the storm moving through right now is really into anywhere from just south of Benton along I-57 to West Frankfort, over towards Heron. The little area of rotation that we've been keeping an eye on maybe the last 15, 20 minutes or so. Once again, just not real tight. It's broad again, which means that I thought maybe a second ago we were going to see this tighten up and really start to make it over as a tornado warning, but that's not been the case. So main concern right now continues to be strong straight line winds with this line of storms as it makes its way eastward. See, this line of storms extends all the way, pretty much all the way across the entire parts of southern Illinois. So if you are still in Heron, or if you're in Marion, Heron, the strongest part of the storm, getting ready to move into your area very shortly. McLeansboro, give it just a bit. And then Harrisburg and Carrier Mills areas further eastward, it's going to be a little while before it makes it to you. I'm going to try this one last time here. There we go. Drawing this line of storms. We're going to go ahead and take this at about 50 miles per hour due east. There's some of the times as far as when these storms are going to make its way into the area. West Frankfort coming in here just in about a minute or so, if it's not already there. Carterville, again, coming in there just here in the next minute or so. Heron, the same to you. But Johnston City, McLeansboro, there's in Hamilton County. McLeansboro, you've got probably about 5 to 10 minutes or so before it moves in there. And then further to the south, Marion, 5:45 is when we are anticipating this line of storms to move in. So that's just about 10 minutes away before this storm line makes its way into Marion. Again, long line of severe thunderstorm warnings. The far northwest corner that you see on the screen, far upper corner of the map, that is out of our area. Edwards, Wabash, Wayne counties, well north of Albion. That's a tornado warning, but we have not had any tornado warnings here in what I consider southern Illinois. Once you see this line of storms move through, that's it. I see Cindy saying, hey, sideways rain, heavy rain for about 10 minutes in Murfreesboro, and that's all. And that's what it's going to be for most part, most of the area. Been talking about this for the last couple of days. Yeah, there's a chance we could see some stronger storms with this. Yeah, there's a chance we could see a brief spin-up tornado. But overall, the risk of severe weather this afternoon and this evening is low across southern Illinois. We should gradually start to see some weakening here as we make our way into the evening hours. We lose some of that daytime heating. We lose some of that energy as well. I'm seeing a lot of folks now coming in, just sundered here, really seeing the line of storms move into West Frankfort. Jonathan, I think it's possible we see this line of storms continue to see warnings on it. You see the new tornado warning there just to our north. So that actually just, again, I don't actually cover Wayne County, Fairfield, Albion, Grayville, Mount Carmel. I don't cover those folks. I really stop right along the I-64 corridor. And as a result of that, we right now still have not seen any. But again, I think it's possible we see some of these severe thunderstorm warnings issued further eastward, especially into, say, Saline and Hamilton, and potentially into Johnson counties as well. But right now we have them for northwest Hamilton County, Franklin County, all of Williamson County is in a severe thunderstorm warning, and all of Union County is in a severe thunderstorm. All right, let's go back over and kind of look into some of these storms here. Other things. Still kind of watching this area here. Folks, I'll tell you what, if you're in just east and northeast of West Frankfort, towards the Hannaford area, Thompsonville, Macedonia, probably just south of Macedonia, right along Route 34 that's going out of Benton to south and east there towards Hannaford and Thompsonville. Watching this storm pretty closely. This is the same one. Gosh, we've been tracking this storm all the way from the north parts of north of Murfreesboro, and then now into southern parts of or the central parts of Franklin County. But Hannaford, that's a strong storm moving your way, and enough that some rotation in that storm to kind of keep an eye on. There's no warning on it, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if we end up in a warning issued further east on this. If you live in Hannaford, if you live in Thompsonville, you live in Macedonia, and you feel threatened from this storm, you may consider taking shelter from this one, as again, it is a storm that has shown signs of rotation from time to time, and right now we're seeing that as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a tornado warning on. Okay, let me go ahead and zoom back in on that. This is the area that I'm going to take this out from. So Hannaford, when you really get over here, that'd be Norris City. This is the storm we've been watching, and that's way over in White County. Right now, this storm is way back into Franklin County. So White County still has a little ways before it gets there. That area of rotation is one to watch there. Again, there is kind of weakened again, but that's just the case of team that just have not been able to get their act quite together. We had just a little more instability or maybe just a little more wind shear, I think we'd be dealing with a much bigger problem here this afternoon. All right, let's check in Union County. Folks in Alto Pass and Makanda, the leading edge of the storms, now just getting to you in Makanda and Alto Pass and Cobden. And that is going to so right now, just starting to see the leading edge get to the northern parts of Union County. This continues to stretch northeastward. So Carterville, you guys are dealing with the brunt of it right now. Heron, you guys are also dealing with the brunt of it right now. But Johnston City, Marion, it hasn't got to you yet, but give it some time. It's there. West Frankfort, you're in the clear. All right. The strongest part of this storm line is past you. Ziegler, Royalton, Carbondale, Murfreesboro. You guys are all in the clear with this line of storms. So Alto Pass, just dealing with the leading edge of this. Grand Tower, Gorham, you guys are all in the clear as well. DuQuoin, Pinckneyville, you guys have been in the clear for a while. Benton, you guys are still dealing with some really heavy rainfall. Benton, Cesar, you guys are starting to get out of the rain now. But say Benton northwards to Whittington, you guys are dealing with some really heavy rain, but the worst of it, the strongest part of the storm, the storm potential that could see severe weather, that is now past you. Okay, so you guys can rest a little easier knowing that any severe weather threat that did exist this afternoon is now behind you. Right now, we're keeping an eye on areas from about McLeansboro to Hannaford, Thompsonville, and then southward, Johnston City. The leading edge of this is just now moving through town. Marion, give it about, say, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes or so, and I think it's going to be moving in the west side of town, and then it's going to quickly move through the Marion area. Right now, I'm not really any concerned with any, back over to radar, looking at velocities. Nothing really jumps out to me as having any tornado concerns right now in Southern Illinois. Not saying we couldn't see that develop, but at this point, that's not really what I'm too. Strong winds, a little closer to the radar beam here. Southwest of Alto Pass, closer to the Wolf Lake area. Pretty strong winds probably coming through on that storm. Be heading towards Cobden and Anna here, maybe in about 5 to 10 minutes. We may see some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds in that. Let's see. If that works just a little bit better. Like I said, folks, I've had a few technical difficulties this afternoon, but we're making do. We're pushing through. So that's a live view right there from the Marion Square. You See the clock tower and the ice skating rink. So the storms have not got there yet. You look closely down here in the bottom left corner there, you can see the strong south winds, and just out ahead of this, gosh, the winds are blowing hard from the south. That, of course, pushing in all that warm, humid air. Right behind this front, and I saw a comment come just a few minutes ago here, this is West Frankfort, dropped 7 degrees already since the rain started. Yeah, so once this front gets here, you're going to know about it. You are going to see temperatures really start to fall right behind this front, and by the time we get to tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about winds that are out of the northwest, pushing wind chills back into single digits with actual temperatures in the lower 20s. So it is a big, big change that is heading our way here in southern Illinois. We'll check back in on that camera here in just a minute or so. Go back over to radar. Had some folks asking me about what about Carmi? Line's still a little ways from you in Carmi. Hannaford, Macedonia, the worst of the line right now is moving through you in Macedonia, right there on the Franklin and Hamilton County line. 14. That's where this is tracking, right down Route 14. Also, folks, kind of mentioning kind of the dog leg here in the line, and that is the case. See, just to our north, we've kind of lucked out here. The wind field had a lot more spin in it, and you really didn't have to go too far north of us to start seeing that. But around here, we had a lot of winds from the southwest. We didn't have quite as much spin in the atmosphere. It led us to think that the tornado threat down this way was probably just a little bit lower. All right, just as I was saying that, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that was just plotted in here. New severe thunderstorm warning does include a tornado possible tag, meaning that there is the potential there. We could see a brief spin-up tornado. There's no, right now, tornado warning in effect for southern Illinois, at least not for the area that we cover. But new severe thunderstorm warning for White County, Carmi, Enfield, North City. All of you guys are in that severe thunderstorm warning, runs until 6:30. Hamilton County, Saline County, western parts of Gallatin County. It does include Shawneetown, does include Ridgeway, Inequality, Omaha. Looks like maybe the severe thunderstorm line runs right up to about New Haven. And then adding some of that warning kind of overlapping across Williamson County as well. Hey Rita, Johnson County line still a little ways to your west. Right now, there's some severe thunderstorm warnings just to your west as well. But main concern really is strong straight line winds with this. Again, we have seen at times some brief or little pockets of rotation pop up. But right now, we have not seen any tornado warnings in southern Illinois, not in the area we cover here. But we do have a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. We have seen some reports of some strong straight line winds with a few of these storms as well. Seeing if we're just checking right now to see if we've got any reports coming in. Not a lot of reports out of this. Even if I go over to the power outage maps, not seeing a lot of power outages. So thankfully, I don't think we're seeing a lot of this make it to the ground. That's some good news. Go ahead and pick up on here. So there's the general trend of when we expect this to make its way into your community. Again, if you are behind this line, you're in Carbondale, Carterville, Craneville, Heron, any of those areas, then you guys are in the clear. Benton, Mount Vernon, in the clear. DuQuoin, Pinckneyville, you're in the clear. You're going to see a real big cool down. Winds are out of the northwest now instead of out of the south. But we've got a lot more. We are mainly focused right on this main line of storms. Once that line of storms moves through, any threat for severe weather quickly goes away. So there you go. Marion, it's coming in right now on the west side of town, crossing down Route 13. The line of storms probably moving through the airport out of Veterans right now, and that will be moving down here quickly. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect there, but it looks like maybe that line not quite as strong moving into the Marion area. Anna, Jonesboro coming in here in just about, say, 4 or 5 minutes. And then Harrisburg, a little after 6 is when it will move in there. El Dorado, probably a little after 6. Mount Vernon, Indiana is what you're seeing there on the list. That is Mount Vernon, Indiana, not Mount Vernon, Illinois. Mount Vernon, Illinois, you guys are in the clear. Shawneetown coming in at about 6:30 and then moving eastward quickly. This line is not going to be around for very long. Yep, Dana saying that the rain just hit McLeansboro. That's right on schedule. There it is. Go back over to velocity. Same area, same little kink in the line that we've been watching here. Still showing some signs of rotation right about just east of Thompsonville. Yep, rains east of Thompsonville. Yeah, that's probably one of the strongest storms right now on radar, Mary Beth, actually, moving through that area. Hey, Carolyn, I don't think that there was a tornado that we have not had any reports. I have not had any reports of a tornado heading towards Thompsonville. We mentioned that there was some rotation, that if you felt threatened, there were times that that storm, it's now east of Thompsonville. We were thinking that maybe that storm was trying to produce some stronger rotation, maybe some of the stronger rotation we've seen today. But that storm weakened, and that rotation is not. Yeah, that rotation is not nearly as pronounced as what it was just a little while ago. Slide back over to the Marion camera here for a second. This line of storms is just getting ready to move into Marion. Moving through on the west side of town. Yeah, David, you're asking for updates. Johnston City closer to West Frankfort line. Johnston City, West Frankfort, you guys are in the clear on this. I would say that line now, just to give you an idea how fast it's moved. Since it moved through Johnston City and West Frankfort, we're now talking about this already moving into northern parts of Saline County and southern parts of Hamilton County. So yes, there is some rain on the backside of this, but any type of severe weather threat, we are most focused right on the front edge of this line. Sirens going off, hearing that going off in North City. That's kind of interesting. Back here. There's a storm just getting to Marion. Let's go back over to radar because I want you folks in North City to kind of, we'll break down. I don't think they should be setting off the sirens. I don't know what their policy is, but they probably shouldn't be setting off the sirens at this point. There is some broad rotation with this storm. It's been there for quite a while. But right now, there is no immediate threat that I see. And there is no tornado warning in effect for North City or Broughton as well. So again, they're setting off the sirens. They may set them off for severe thunderstorm warnings, but right now there is no tornado warning. And honestly, I don't see any immediate concern for any tornadic potential from that storm. The line is a lot more potent just north of us. I'd like to see a little bit of weakening, but we really haven't seen that so far. We might start to see that as it moves a little further east. But the line is definitely a lot stronger just to our east. We've seen a lot more rotation in the line, a lot just further to our east as well. Yeah, Sarenson, a lot of cities do have sirens for severe thunderstorm warnings. Without getting into a big discussion, I wish we had a little bit more concrete kind of structure on when sirens kind of go off, because it varies so much from town to town. Rick saying storm just hit Route 148 in Grassy Road. That is just southwest of Marion. I'm taking this out about 45 miles per hour. So again, if you are joining us from Norris City, 603, Harrisburg, about 606. So I've had a few people asking about Stone Fort and the timing for that. When you see Carrier Mills or Harrisburg at 606, Stone Fort's kind of right in that same line. So I would say Stone Fort for you guys probably about 606, 605 or so. El Dorado maybe a minute or two later. Notice some of the other communities listed here. Vienna, you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning yet. We may see that one in Union County. We may see one added further eastward here shortly as that line starts to move further eastward. Shawneetown, that does include, of course, other areas of Gallatin County, Junction, Shawneetown, coming in right around 6:30, maybe just a few minutes before 6:30. And then the other communities listed here, Poseyville, that's Indiana, Mount Vernon, also Indiana. And then you get into some of the other Hauptstadt and Darmstadt. Those are also, I believe, in Indiana. So by 6:28, that's what, a half hour from now, we should start seeing this line approach the Ohio River. It is out of here very quickly this evening. That's just, it's yeah, there's just nothing right now that really jumps out to me. Lauren asking about Lake of Egypt area that's moving in right now, but some strong straight line winds, some really heavy rainfall, and a sharp temperature drop afterwards. But right now, that's about it with that storm. We might see some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. We haven't had a lot of reports of that, though, this afternoon. It is primarily, yeah, I'll try to do that, Kimberly. I'll try to put Lake of Egypt on the map if I can add that. Not a bad idea. There's a lot of folks there. I know it's kind of its own community. We'll try to do that here in the near future so that the next time, it's not going to get done right now, but I'm telling you, the next time that we do this, I hope to have Lake of Egypt. Omaha, in northern parts of Gallatin County. Omaha, you guys are currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. Main threat, at least at this point with the line, is going to be strong straight line winds. I don't see any immediate concern for any tornadic activity. Further to the south, I'll zoom in. I know I've had some folks joining me from Lake of Egypt. There's Marion just to the north, and there's Creel Springs here off to the side. So Lake of Egypt's going to be about right back in here. And so you've got the leading edge of this moving into your area right now. Again, the biggest concern is likely going to be some gusty winds on the front edge of it. Brief, real heavy rainfall. And we're probably talking 10 to 20 minutes of real heavy rainfall, and then the wind shift. So south winds out ahead of this, northwest winds behind it, and a pretty sharp temperature drop as well, right along this line. Kind of see I'm looking for any signs of rotation in this. Just everything to me jumps out at this point to see strong straight line winds. I'm just not. Let's see if I can switch over and show you kind of the difference real fast. These are just northeast, so I actually I usually kind of cut off of where I cover at the White and Hamilton. Once you start getting into Wayne County, I typically don't get into that much, but you can see all these little eddies that are further north of our area. A little different characteristic than what we're dealing with down here. And we're just kind of on the edge of that. The wind was just not quite as conducive, in my opinion, for tornadic activity. It's more conducive of seeing strong straight line winds. We didn't have that turn in the atmosphere that we oftentimes look for seeing rotation or seeing potential tornadoes being a problem. Not saying that we won't see that as this line gets a little further east, but at least at this point, this line has behaved quite a bit. Got the line just moving into my neck of the woods. I can hear some of the thunder outside. Yeah, I understand, Coleman. I'm sure you guys do get nervous. You guys down at Lake of Egypt have had quite a couple of years when it comes to strong storms and in particular tornadoes. But at this point, there's nothing that jumps out to me to be concerned with outside of, again, some gusty winds likely as this line moves. And a couple folks say that there's maybe some flickering power or flickering lights coming down really hard right now, dealing with extremely heavy rainfall. You know, in this time of year, when you have temperatures in the 70s, and you're talking about temperatures behind us dropping back into the low 20s, you can usually kind of guess that we're going to have at least some strong winds as well with this. I'm going to switch this back over here real fast. Again, go back to the Marion camera right there on the square. Kind of show you that as well. This is just the heavy rain. Yeah, heavy rain north of Marion and windy. We're going to see if they extend this severe thunderstorm warning further east, but right now it looks like part of the storm may not be. My drawing skills tonight with my storm tracker have not been the best. About 45 miles per hour. So again, just to give you an idea. Final fence gone around Thompsonville. Appreciate that report coming through. Travis, you're asking just south of McLeansboro. Can I do that? We're gonna go back in here, give you an idea. There's the Metropolis showing up now. Metropolis coming in. It's still got about 40 minutes or so before this makes it to Metropolis. Shawneetown, Mounds. Shawneetown about 6:30, we'll say, and 6:30, 6:40 or so before it makes its way there. Mounds coming in here probably in about 20 minutes or so. Vienna about 6:15, just about 10 minutes or so before it makes its way there. We are seeing a little bit of slowing down here on the southern part, but there's the latest update there that just came. Go back and look at the log. Back over. Evansville radar here. Off the scales or jumps out to me. Yeah, so as we get a little closer to radar here, the Evansville radar's right up here in this corner. Get a little closer to that, you start seeing some of these brighter colors show up. And we might be seeing some strong straight line winds with this, but not really. Broad rotation. There's just nothing that really jumps out to me. Nothing like what we're seeing further north. Little eddies are just a lot more pronounced. Just not seeing that here further to the south. Trying to get everything centered back up for you guys. Yeah, we are seeing some, I think, weakening. Overall, that's a good question, Becky. I think we are seeing some weakening in this line of storms. Aaron, again, West Frankfort, you guys are in the clear. Matthew asking about Marion. Marion, I think the worst part of the storm is past you now. The worst part is that the area that we're most kind of reading through your comments here, guys. Appreciate them. All right, so not a lot of change here. Again, we've got quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings that are going to be in effect for a while. Very strong winds, El Dorado and Raleigh, that's out ahead of this line. That's probably southerly winds out ahead of the line. We've had those most of the day, and Josh just kind of relentless at times. Thompsonville out by West Frankfort Lake, you guys are also in the clear from the severe weather. Pittsburgh, Alton area. Strongest part of the storm is moving through right now. You might probably going to see some gusty winds, some really heavy rainfall with the line of storms as it moves through. But right now, not really anticipating that we are going to see anything too crazy there into the Polton and Pittsburgh area, Eastern area. Laureen saying heavy rain, Lake of Egypt. You guys are out of your TVs out because of how heavy the rain is coming down. Switch back over. So look a little deeper into that storm. Pretty good line of strong straight line winds, but gosh, it just not anything that really jumps out to me. Yeah, Denise saying over by Reynolds Roofing and Marion saying pretty good storm going on. Yeah, some thunder, some lightning. I just heard some thunder here. Gusty winds, but just nothing too extreme. It's a pretty good thunderstorm. That's what most are going to see, a pretty good thunderstorm as this moves through. But the risk for major severe weather, as we've kind of mentioned, has been somewhat low with this line as it's moved through southern Illinois. So a little more concern to our north. They're dealing with a lot more severe weather just to our north. But around here, we've had a few reports of maybe a fence blown down or maybe a few power lines kind of blown down. But we haven't seen anything that's too severe at this point. Okay. David asking about straight line winds in the Johnson City, West Frankfort area around 57, 37. Yeah, it probably was strong straight line winds that moved through. I think we've probably had some gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour at times as this line's kind of been moving through the area. It's been somewhat sporadic, not like a long line of 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. But we've definitely had that in a few spots this afternoon and this evening. Yep, just north of Route 13 by Crab Orchard. Yep, it's there. Once you get that front edge of the line, it means business, that's for sure, as it comes through. Too soft bit. Waiting for my radar to update here. Running a little bit behind. Get this update. There it goes. All right. Okay, so Real Springs, it's moving through you guys now. Harrisburg moving in here in the next few minutes. Moving through Galatia, kind of the leading edge of that. So El Dorado and Harrisburg leading edge of moving through you, but again, probably some gusty winds, but nothing too extreme right now with what's moving towards Harrisburg. Watching this area up near Enfield and North City. A little bit stronger in that area. Yes, Heron's in the clear. Yeah, Ashley, I think Ashlyn, I think that the tornado watch will likely be canceled for Carbondale, probably a little early. I think the main threat. Wedge back over here, back into that Enfield storm, city storm here. We've got some strong winds moving into Carmi. Strongest part of the storm actually just moved through North City. So that's going to continue eastward. But again, nothing more than strong straight line winds at this point. I don't see any tornadic threat in the immediate with that line of storms as it's moving through White County and then also what's moving into Saline and eventually Gallatin County. I don't think that there's any immediate tornado threat with that. Switch back. All right, so again, leading edge of the storm line here, El Dorado. Warville, kind of moving through you guys right now as we speak, moving into the leading edge of moving through Buncombe. So like folks in Lake of Egypt, I know you guys are dealing with a strong storm right now. It's not, there's actually not a severe thunderstorm warning right now for Johnson County. They've went ahead and actually kind of let this relax just a bit. So I think we are seeing some weakening as this moves eastward. A lot of warnings coming off the board right now. So currently we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Gallatin County. Northeast Saline County does include El Dorado. We have that severe thunderstorm warning does extend northward into White County, Broughton, North City, Enfield. And then right now, there is no severe thunderstorm warning. They went ahead and dropped the severe thunderstorm warning for Harrisburg, Carrier Mill, Stone Fort, New Burnside, Creel Springs, Lake of Egypt, Goreville, Simpson, Eddyville. That is, there is no severe thunderstorm warning currently in effect for you guys. They went ahead and have dropped that warning. Waiting on a radar 8 update here. Getting pretty far behind. Not sure exactly what's going on. So the orange boxes you see there on the screen, those are the severe thunderstorm warnings. Trying to see if we can get radar to plumb back in here. Kind of running behind right now for some reason. All right. Yeah, there is. Ray, there is a severe thunderstorm warning currently for El Dorado. There is no severe thunderstorm warning, though, for Harrisburg. So the northeast part of the county is inside of that severe thunderstorm warning, but the rest of the county is not. There it is. I lost radar there for just a second. So there's the line of storms. Right now, Harrisburg, it is moving into your area. Real windy. I'm sure the leading edge of this storm line is going to have some pretty gusty wind. A lot of reports. Power just went out in Harrisburg. Okay. For that report. Yeah, like I said, Mickey, the leading edge and really the bulk of this line just has some tremendous rainfall for this time of year. It is much more in that way. It's much more like a springtime storm. Real heavy rainfall with this. Nita saying she's in the Harrisburg, still has power, so maybe some sporadic power outages there. Potentially a lightning strike. Could also see some gusty winds, maybe a tree limb or something like that came down. That's definitely possible. Yeah, there's a little bit of thunder and lightning with this. Not a lot, but definitely a little bit. Yeah, if you're in El Dorado, it's going to start raining here pretty quickly. It may not be just right this second, but give it a minute or two, and it's going to get there, Penny. Mickey's saying, sounds like God. All right, so what they've done is off to the south of this. We had the severe thunderstorm warning for Union County. They've went ahead and let that one expire as well. We've got some strong straight line winds with this, and I'll switch back over to that. These are winds coming across here through Tams, heading into western parts of Pulaski County there, from Olin to Pulaski. I'd say even stretching down to Mounds and Olmsted and New Grand Chain. Those are strong straight line winds that are going to be coming across there. All right, gusty winds, no rain yet in Shawneetown yet, Barb. Give it a little while. Line's still pretty far to your west, still over in Saline County, but it is heading your way. So right now, I'll stay with you here for a bit. Right now, the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have, they did just issue one here for far eastern parts of White County. Right now, the only severe thunderstorm warning we have is in White County and northern parts of Gallatin County. It looks like that runs until about 6:30, so about another 10 minutes or so. Really struggling with my drawing today. We've been taking this about 40 miles per hour. So there's the time on it. Again, if you're in Marion, all clear. All clear in Marion. Harrisburg, I would say that right now the worst is going through you. It's raining really hard right around Route 45 from US 45 from New Burnside to Carrier Mills, Harrisburg, El Dorado now dealing with it, and then on areas northward. But once that moves through, the worst of it is by you. So right now, Harrisburg, I would say, yeah, you're dealing with some really heavy rainfall. But Goreville, Creel Springs, Marion, West Frankfort, Benton, we've talked about you guys, Carbondale, Murfreesboro, all the way northward to Mount Vernon, Illinois. You guys are in the clear. Anna Jonesboro, you guys are also in the clear as this line's moving through. Oh, friends in El Dorado and Harrisburg, there's the latest update just coming in. El Dorado, you guys are dealing with a pretty strong storm right now, but again, really don't have any concerns right now with any tornadic activity with that. Raining, windy in Harrisburg, yeah, you'll have that with this leading edge. Keep an eye, there's a few different things to watch here. There is a little top flood is what we call. We've seen a lot of these this afternoon and this evening. Nothing that's really produced at this point, at least not here in far southern Illinois. Keep an eye on one here. No warning on this. This is southeast of Harrisburg. That's going to be closer to the Stoneface area right now. That will be moving eastward, so there's a quality here, and then maybe southward. And even, yeah, probably south, just south of Equality. Kind of keeping an eye on that. Little area of rotation getting picked up on radar there. Further to the south, though, the line just really seems like it's behaving a lot. And really that's been the case here through this afternoon. Yeah, there's that little hook we're talking about. You can kind of see it here on radar too. Reflectivity. Oops, sorry about that. Back out. Kind of south right here, again, southeast of Harrisburg. It's going to be heading towards Equality. Again, no warning on it, but little area of rotation to watch. picked up on both base velocity and storm relative, and they're kind of fades away pretty quickly. And that's really just, we've seen a lot of that this afternoon, where we've seen these little eddies or these little couplets pop up, and they're just around for maybe a few minutes, and then 1 or 2 scans, and then they're gone. So strong straight line winds probably continue to remain the main threat here. I haven't seen any reports of anything that's really extremely concerning to me at this point. Looks like we are starting to see, go ahead, I'm going to take off radar here for just a second. Plots this in real quick. So the tornado watch is getting canceled now. So this was the tornado watch we had just in effect. I'm just seeing this come through. Bollinger County, Cape Girardeau County, Franklin, Jackson, Jefferson, Perry, Missouri, and Wayne County have all been canceled out of the tornado watch. So that's pretty much Mount Vernon, Franklin, all the way back down in here has all been taken out of this. We're going to see some other counties likely taken out of that watch here, as well as we go over the next hour or so. Yeah, Brianna asking about Metropolis. You know, I think that the risk for Metropolis, again, as this line continues eastward, we just have not seen a lot with it. Can't rule out maybe an isolated strong storm or two still kind of embedded in this line. But right now, the only warning that we have in place is from Carmine to El Dorado and over towards, say, Omaha and northern Gallatin County. That's the only warning we still have in place right now. So we have seen a lot of warnings dropped here over the last hour, so a sign that maybe we're seeing some weakening. We just have not had a lot of reports either come in. All of that's good news. All of that is good news. We're talking about the little eddy, that little couplet we were talking about just a few minutes ago, southeast of Harrisburg. That's kind of gone away. Another one just north of Simpson in eastern Johnson County. Right now to watch. Erica asking about Galatia. You guys are in the clear for severe weather. All right, so there's some of the times there. We get into some Kentucky towns as well. Asking about Ozark. Rudy, right now, just the line of storms that's moving through your area, there's some strong straight line winds in it. There's nothing that's jumping out to me. You're not under a warning at all. Steph asking about College Road by SIC. Again, strong storm moving through. You guys are dealing with some really heavy rainfall, probably some gusty winds there. But the worst and really the severe weather threat is past you at SIC. That's, of course, between or just east of Harrisburg and between Harrisburg and Equality. The worst is past you. Yep, all calm in the backside of this Egyptian Hills, Donna. Appreciate that one. Some rain coming down. There will be strong winds that pick up from the northwest here over the next couple of hours behind this. When will it be out of Harrisburg? Probably next 10 to 20 minutes. You know, some rain maybe lingering around, but severe weather threat is past Harrisburg. Yes, Stone Fort, you guys are in the clear as well. Yep, I think that Muddy is also in the clear for severe weather. Yes. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to continue to leave radar up. Kelly asking about Metropolis. Line still to your west. Metropolis, that line is about 20 minutes west of you. And right now there's no warnings to your west. So, you know, you might see some gusty winds, some really heavy rainfall. Can't entirely let our guard down with this line of storms as it moves eastward. But we are seeing some weakening. I'm not really seeing anything that jumps out to me as being too concerning at this point. We'll keep an eye on it as it gets a little closer to Paducah. What I'm going to do, though, I know that this, yes, El Dorado, you guys are in the clear as well. What I'm going to do, though, is this next warning, the one for El Dorado and Ridgeway and Omaha and New Haven, is getting ready to expire within the next couple of minutes. I'm going to leave this up on radar. I'm going to continue to, and if there's any tornado warning, if there's maybe more severe thunderstorm warnings or something like that, I'm going to come back to this. But right now, that's my plan here over the next, there goes the warning. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom this back out. And like I said, I'm going to leave this on. But since we have no warnings right now in Southern Illinois, none, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this up if we have any warning. If you get a notification on your Nick Hausen weather app that, hey, you've got a warning, come right back here, Facebook or YouTube. And what I'm going to do is then I'll hop back on with you and we'll kind of talk through that. In the meantime, I'm going to, and again, keep an eye on things here, but just kind of leave it on silent with radar looping. But appreciate all of you guys. Appreciate you guys coming and joining me this evening and kind of watching this as it moves through.